Hello people from the other side. Welcome to a nail video today, and today is a nail video. Remy London for the most part, because if you're not new here, but if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button so you can be part of this sparkly, crazy stamping family here at Maxmagicnails. That's right. So with all that in mind, as I said about Remy London, today I'm going to be doing, besides, it's not really just Remy London, but I have these polishes. Well, one's a top coat and one's a white. I have these nails I want to do, these ones. Yeah, those ones from Instagram. I know a lot of people use TikTok to find a lot of things nowadays, but I mostly use Instagram, especially with nails and stuff. So, because I just follow a whole bunch of nail people, look through my Instagram feed and the search page, because it gives me a whole bunch of nail ideas, even more so than my feed at times. So, when I was there, I was like going out to get some lipstick because I've been wanting to wear some red lipstick. So, that's beside the point. But when I was there, I saw they had this white, and it was like a different one they have somewhat. It's like they're kind and free. I think it's like Kind to Us. It's a vegan. I think maybe all their polishes are vegan, but I'm not sure. But this one is like made so it's like kind to the planet, I think was what they're going off of. And I noticed they had a top coat. I think that's what it is. Yeah, top coat. And this is not the typical one I usually use as a top coat. I'm still, of course, going to use my typical base coat. This is always the base coat I go to, this slight pinkish one, because it keeps my nails stronger and everything, from the same brand, Remy London. But this is the one thing I don't change. It's still the same brand, but a different top coat. And then I'm going to go, as you saw that, I'm pretty much going to do the exact same nails, almost identical to the color and everything. We're going to see how this yellow, I mean not yellow, we'll see that in a minute. There's the yellow in that, so you'll see this white, how it goes on, because white can be very, very finicky, even in good brands. So there's a lot of brands, and then sometimes you really got to be picky about the white. Sometimes it can be too liney and whatever, but that's my experience for the white. At least white is one of the hardest colors to do right, even in brands that do everything else right. And then as there's the yellow, I'm going to use this one, but because of it being LA color, and if you saw my review on that and all that, these are awesome to use, but they do have a problem slightly. The problem with these is that they don't last very long, even when you use a really good base coat. So the best way to use this is on top of another good quality color, maybe like dab it on, and that's what I'm going to do today. I got let me see if I can find it here. I should have let's see here, can I find one? I can't find one exactly, but I should have a makeup sponge that people use for makeup, and they use it to put their makeup on, whatever, these little things. And I use these little white, like, triangular shaped sponges, if you know what I'm talking about. Because you probably might, if you watch anything to do with lots of nail art, because it's a very common thing to use in nail art. And I'm going to dab a thin layer on top. So I'm probably going to make all my nails white, and then dab it on top to show the yellow, because then that will be a thin layer of yellow, kind of like stamping, and then it will last longer. So this is not going to be the main like color in between. It's going to be this with a thin layer of this. So yeah, let's get to that awesomeness. And of course, you saw a design on that nail as well. And as you know, if you have not new here, I do stamping. So I'm going to find my stamping plate that has that on it. I do love making animal prints, like those kind of animal printed nails. They are awesome. Let me turn that around. So of course, using my handy dandy scraper, and that, I don't know why I'm using that piece of paper like no tomorrow. It works really well, so I just keep using it. So don't mind all the paint on it. Yep. Let me just find a plate here. It's on all my plates, because I even have houndstooth, which I think I posted that video. That will be in my YouTube channel as well. Some houndstooth, purpley, like tannish white color. So like the lightest tan color I had as well. It's very awesome, because I'm not one to do much by hand. Oh, but if you do want to see a video done by hand, I have a video I just did recently, not too long ago, that I posted that is to do with little flowers. If you want to see how I did those, got that video. That's nice springtime into Easter time nails, but that's beside the point. Let's get into these nails that you're here for. So all I'm doing is trying to find, I have that one, but I don't think I want to do zebra. I think I'm going to do what they did, so I'm going to find that one. That should be in here, unless it's in my little pile of extra plates that can't fit in here. Here we go. I found it. It's right here. It's better for me to take it out before I start doing my nails, because I don't want my nails to get ruined. Okay, what we need is we need to go into my handy dandy drawer, get out my Hollow Taco little toolkit that you probably know tons about by now, because it's my go-to thing. And I'm going to use the tweezers to get it out. Yes, that's what I'm going to do, because it can damage it somewhat. It's a little hard to get out with the tweezers, but at least it's better. It's a little finicky to get out sometimes, but if you get a hold onto it right and just trying to get into the crevice of one of the nail designs on it, because it does go in there. There we go. That one looks like some spotted, snake nails. Now that would be pretty awesome. Maybe like greenish purple. I do have a purple sparkle, so I don't know if like maybe depending, because it depends on which one is lighter and darker. I should do one on top and one underneath. So that might be cool doing that. So yeah, if you're interested, maybe down the line I'll do some snake looking one, because I realize I have a snake kind of one on here. I don't know, but if you're interested, I might do that sooner than later. Then like down the line, because right now I'm kind of doing brighter-ish nails because of coming the time of year, even though here is a little cloudy, but it's still becoming Easter. So let's get into this nail art and put away this. I don't want to lose my tweezers here. Nope, I do not. So let's put that away and let's get into the nail making, as I now have everything I need put out on my table here. My scrapers, my colors that I'm gonna need. Only thing I'm missing, which is right over here, my handy dandy, which is what you always need to do stamping with, which is a stamper. I got it on Amazon at some point. It's PQEE, I think is the brand. It's PUEEN. It's the brand, capital letters. It's only a US brand that I have found, because the UK doesn't seem to sell this brand, which is a little bit of a bummer, because these seem to be really good stampers. Like, it was good the minute I got it. So sometimes, and then one last thing before I get into the nail art actually making, is that this actually has a thing where these aren't as good when you first get them, but for some reason they seem to be like, after a while they get like put in use, and then they, anything. I don't know. But that's beside the point. My mouth can't make the right words. So all in all, that's good there, and I'm just going to get into it. So let's get into some nail making and see how this white works. But before we can even get into putting on the white, we do want to make sure you put on the base coat, as it keeps your nails nice and protected. And here we go, now doing the white, because I now have put my base coat on, and this is it, the white. Let's hope for the best. So here we go, putting on the first coat on my nails here, and yes, it is showing very liney and thin. That happens with a lot of polish, but I think this one is doing its typical thing that a lot of white polish does, so we're definitely going to need at least one more coat, just for in case, even though I'm dabbing on a color on top. And now I am putting on second coat, because you can see all my other nails are very, very liney. I don't know what it is about this one, but this one came on pretty smoothly compared to some of the other ones. So it does vary a little bit, but it is very hard to get white to be right. But if you know how to put it on, I guess it does right as well. But there we go. And all that. So there you can see. And this is it with one coat, and this is two coats. So it's much better with two coats than one, especially, because the first one. So then I'm going to use this. I'm putting this on before I do any of the design and other stuff, because I want this to be somewhat dry. And when you usually put a top coat on, that will make it dry a lot faster. So I am using one from the same collection here. That's the Good Planet collection from Emu London, and putting it on. And yes, I am sliding the off the excess, as I don't want it in my clear polish. Well, there we go so far. And I got to say, it's not too bad, but I don't know if I could stand this being just a white mani for myself. I have to say, because I'm seeing some lines here, there's going to be a stamp put on top, so some of the lines won't show, and then I'm going to be dabbing on some yellow, so that will cover up some of it too. It went on pretty nicely, except for the one that I damaged, but that's okay. And so for this, it came on nicely, but there's still lines, and I guess a third coat would probably help to get the lines to be gone, I guess. But it feels kind of thickish, so I'm not sure I want to put another coat on, because if I put the third coat, it might not dry as well. So I put some top coat on before I do any of the dabbing on, just to give it a nice time to dry in between. Seems fine. Just seems like a nice top coat. Nice thin-ish top coat, very similar to this one that I use. Pretty similar to this one. So, of course, being similar to that one, it gets wet. And it will, not wet, but it gets the polish re-wet and it gets on the polish. That's why you see me taking it and putting it on the mat and cleaning it off, because polish gets on the brush usually. So I have to get it off. The gel-like one, I don't know why, but it doesn't typically. So, but whichever. So, yeah, I just do that because it helps it dry in between a little bit better. Even though I could do the dab on without the top coat probably, but I want to make sure that I don't damage the underneath too much. So I want it to be dry for the most part. So I'll just let that dry, and then I will put on some of this yellow. And here is some latex I'm going to use to get on my skin, because if you use latex, it helps make sure you can clean it up. I'm doing a dabbing technique, and a lot of times it goes on my skin, and this usually makes it a lot easier to take off. So that's why I am trying to make myself use this stuff. And now I'm doing the dab, dab, dab to be fab, but not just yet, as I got to get the polish on to my sponge. So this is the sponge I was talking about that I'm using. And now here we go in just a minute or so, just making sure it's nice and saturated, because I want a good amount of color to dab on thinly and all that awesomeness. So here we go. Let's dab to be fab. Oh yeah. We are going to have to do a couple to like about 3 passes on the nail to make sure it's nice and opaque for the most part, because when you're doing this, it makes it pretty thin, and then the other color shows through more. But there we go. And then I'm just going to get a little more polish here, so I can do, and as you can see, I kind of can go to do different nails with it, and then I add more to the thing, and it will make it more colored. As you can see now, the color is showing a little bit more on it, and this is why I put the latex on, because you see as it is getting on my skin. So it was a good idea probably to put that on. And now, as you probably saw in the picture, I'm going to do the half nail now with half white, half of the yellow. So you probably can guess what side's going to have the stamp. Yes, the white part. And then here is some sparkle I thought to use, because I wanted to add some sparkle. Unlike they did. Well, they did on one part, but that part I'm going to change. So I'm adding sparkle on top of the color to give the color just a little something more fun and whatnot. And this is a kind of chunky polish, but you can still see the color. So why not use this fun pinkish tinge? And then, of course, because I want the white to stay pretty white, I'm just doing it on the yellow part of this nail, even though I could do it on the white and it would just be underneath the stamper and all that. And here is the stamping I'm doing here with this nice black that I love using. Yes, I'm doing a few passes, but don't be too quick-ish, because you don't want it to dry. And now here we go. This is me first doing on the half and half nail, so I'm trying to make sure which part I want to use. So there we go. And as I pick it up, I'm going to have to put some on the tip, so that's what I do. And now I am doing the line. And yes, as I said, I'm not doing it as I fully did this part. I'm doing a black line instead of a sparkle or something in the middle. But I thought I'd do the black to match the black I used for the stamper, because that seemed like a nice idea to kind of make it. And it came out pretty nice, if I do say so myself. It might not be a perfect line, but that's sometimes how it happens. And now, of course, as you know by now, if you're not new here, this is what I'm going to use my top coat, which is gel-like top coat. I always use a gel-like top coat. I'm using it on all my nails just because I happen to be opening it, because I'm going to use it for the stamping nails. So I said, oh, why not? Let's put it on all of them, even though I don't really need to put it on these ones, because I don't mind if it re-wets it, and there is a sparkle on it, which protects the color anyway. So, but I always have to be slightly careful in a way, so I always still put a bead of the gel-like top coat and then slide it on to make sure I don't get it too damaged, because that can happen. But here we go. Now it's time to take off this latex here. I know, that's a funny name. It's not latex like you'd think, but it's this kind. So it was so hard and annoying to get off. I'm not sure why. I have not had this problem so badly before. So, well, I guess we'll try our best. Hopefully it gives me what I need and doesn't, and protects and all that. But it is seeming to be pretty hard to take off. Here we go with my nails all finished for you. As you saw, I had a hard time getting off that latex I put around the outside. It's made to go on the skin so when you do something that's going to go more on your skin and you want to take it off easily, usually it should work. And that I recall down the line, it has worked. But because it's so old, years old, this latex, it is becoming very hard to use. It's like one of the few things I still have that is old. So I recommend don't keep latex that's years and years old and assume it's going to work. So I don't know how long latex lasts for, but I think it was like middle of last year, well, like the beginning of last year or so, or whatever, one of those times I used it, or the year before that, it was working pretty well. But I should have realized when I started using it, it was seeming like it didn't get thick enough so I can just peel it off. So if you're feeling a little iffy and you used it once and it was like doing something strange and it's slightly hard to get off, like you couldn't get it thick enough like you should, then throw it away immediately, get a new one. That's all I'm going to say. So, because I've been trying to use it more and more than I have, and now that I'm screwing myself by it. But that's okay. Things happen. I just have to clean them up more. But all in all, I hope you enjoyed this video of these yellow, white, animal print nails today, because I sure did. And enjoy your Easter. So, with that all in mind, thank you. Till next time. Sparkle, sparkle. Bam!